there's an image inside my local folder, not in the internet, which has this image, and I want to add this image inside my app. So there are a few things you have to do first. First, you have to add this asset image at the pubsec.yml. So for this, like from even you can find it from here. So there is something called to add your asset to application, add an asset section like this. So let me just copy this, paste this, and our image path is asset, then images, then lake.jpg. So let me just copy relative path and paste it here. But because just this so I just wait for the Flutter to complete. Yeah, so now the app can access this image as an asset, like as set up in the config pubsec.yml. Uh, yeah, so to add it, will now do rather than .network, I will do image.asset and file path. So it's assets slash images slash lake.jpg. Cool. So let's just reload it and things will be similar to here. See, so the image is present, but we are not accessing internet. So some things you can see that there's like a fixed height, and like there is some clipping also. So for that, let me just define some more things. So like I want to fix the height. So height is, let's say, 300, and I want the height is 300. So let's reset it. You will see that the height is fixed, but the image is like the like empty stuff here. So I want it to cover. So let me just change its fit. So fit whose type is box fit. So box fit dot cover. So cover. So what cover will do is like it will like cover all the part of the intended widget. So what should happen? Why is it not happening? Just move the height for now, and yes, let's look into that later. Let's continue with other topics. So after the image, there is an row which has like multiple things. So let me just define a function. Like I don't want to clutter the main part, so let's define the function like title row. So, and let me just do widget title row, and we return a row. Okay, okay, I understood what is happening. So can anyone guess what is happening? Like why is it giving error? Yes, good. That is the correct answer. I for showing just the image, I didn't add the column. So let's add the column. Well, the element, and that's inside children, and inside that thing, and yes, now this will also work. Anyway, so then it was title row. So uh, the image. So inside the title row, there is like three things. One is this two text column and an icon and a number. So let's first define a column which has children, as text with this text. So I have saved it somewhere. This text. Let me just share it here also. So this text and then another child is text and this text. So it will come like this, but like let me just add all the things, then we will think about the design perspective. So after that there is a star inside the column, outside the column, inside the row. So after the column I add an icon. So is it icons dot star, and its color is dot red. So see if it works. Then there is this, and after that there is a text which is 41. So we can see this, like this has been made, but you can see that it is not quite what we intended. So we want that the star and the text should be on right, and all the other parts is taken by the text column. So for that there is a widget called expanded. So let's widget wrap with the widget expanded. So after that yeah, you can see that this text part is taken up by all the part, and then after there is star and the text. But there is another thing. Image. You can see here that this two texts are left aligned. So for that we have to do some alignment. So we can see column starts from this part and ends here, and we want this text to be on the left part. So we want to align it from the start. So for that we use main axis alignment. This okay. Uh, some error. So let me first define what is main axis and cross axis for this column. So main axis is downward and cross axis is like horizontal. What we want is these text to be left side. So cross in the cross axis start. So for that we do cross axis alignment, where cross axis alignment dot start. So let's test it. This has happened, but let's think of it more. You can see that there is some spacing between that. So for that we have to add some padding. Now what is padding? So let me just open a site, like just google.com, and do an. So from in this inspect element we can see that how, like in the website, it is aligned like that. What we will do in the Flutter is very similar to what we will do with Windows. So elements, let me just select this image. So you can see that this is the image. There's a padding, then there is a border, then there is a margin. So so coming back to the Flutter page, we want some spacing here, but like we can do margin or padding because we are not defining border here. Like we are not drawing any border here. So let me just define padding. So to pad it, I will cover this row, then this entire row with a padding, and let's do it 20. You will see that this padding has happened. And another thing for for easy coding afterwards, you can see that every element, like most all the text elements and widgets have same padding. So let me just define a padding. Final padding is equal to 20.0. Okay, so, and rather than giving a hard coded value here, we just give padding. Okay, so yes, so this is not a constant value anymore, so I'm just removing this constant, and you will see same effect. Now let's start with coding of this to text. So you can see that this is like bold and black, while this is normal and gray. So for that, we have to style the text. So let us define style. This is text style, and after that, we want weight to be told. uh, font font weight bold. So let's just see how it goes. uh, should happen. There's some error which is not making it happen. Font weight. Let's just also increase the size. So size, that will be 40. So yeah, now it will be visible more. uh, okay. There was some error. So size is too much, let's do 20. Cool. And let's do it 30. So after that, we have to gray the next part. So again, style, text style, and then we have to make it gray to colors dot gray. Yes. Yes, so it has become gray. Let me just increase the size also, because like font size is like, let it be 20. It's too much. And cool. Let's keep it that. So first part is done, like near about similar. Then we have another row which has like columns of widgets. So let me just another photo. Like this is a row which has multiple columns where each column has an icon and a text. So before going into that, is there any doubt? No problem. I have just started it, so yes, you can follow along. Like let me just re- rewind and tell what I did. So so our target is to make this layout, and for that we first added an image inside a column. So we did image.asset, where like this file is stored here, and we just gave it a path, and it got generated. Then we created this second row, which has like inside a row there is a column for the text, which is like this campground, and then it's Switzerland, and I have styled it. So like first one is bold and another one is gray, and set the font size, and then I have added a star like for the icon, and a text 41. So Cool. Is it cool till now? Cool. So let's start with second part. So we will make a row which has multiple columns. So let me, for simplicity sake, we will just look at action row. And let me define widget action row. And here I am passing a row. I'm returning a row. Where children are, let me just define first element. So it's a column. Children. Children. First one is an icon. Is like this icon is called icons dot call and its color is blue. So colors dot blue. And after that there is text which is call. Cool. And then I return it. What? Okay, so bracket error. It should be here. Is happening. This is row. So you can see that I have one element like a column which call and also let me define its color also. So style text style colors dot blue. Cool. So this has happened, but I want them to be where is the photo? I want them to be like in the center. So for now, let's do for let's do main axis alignment because I want to align them in the direction of row. Not here. So in the direction of row. So inside the row, I add main axis alignment and it will be in axis alignment dot center. So you can see the column inside it became like in the center. Now to add more things, I just need to copy this part, like this entire column. So let me do this. Shift alt down. You can see like this has happened, but I want them to be spaced evenly. So rather than center, I want space evenly. Okay, so these three has happened, but you can see here that for changing the icon and the text, most of the part is common. Only I have to change this and this, right? So it is better rather than copying everything. Like most of the thing is copied. I make another widget function and like pass arguments here. So let's do it. Widget get action column. I can use getter. Okay, no, getter is not possible. So let me just return this. So this and rather than all this, the column ends here. So rather than all this, I just do get action column, and you can see I have achieved the same thing but with less clutter. So as the project grows, you have to make sure that clutter does not come, because it is very hard to diagnose. Like for example, if I did 3 copies and I suddenly wanted that the color should be red, so I have to change like this and this, but in all the copies. So it's better when you are copying many things to make a function out of it. So now we have to like set up what icon and labels go here. So here I have a hard coded icons.call and the label. So better thing is I do something. I define parameters like the icon and the label. So first, let's see the data type of what icon wants in the first place. It is called icon data. So icon data, icon data, like just for name purpose. And another is a string. So string uh, well, string label. Cool. So what is happening here? The parameter can't have null because of its type. So rather than like it is asking key, if I define something in named parameter, I cannot have it null. So what I want from the function is that the caller gives these two. So I add some a keyword called required. So required. That means that this icon data is required to call that function. So you can see when I add this required, all these 3 functions gave error. Okay, this icon data is required, but you have not provided it. Similarly here also required. Now I have taken the parameter inside the function. I just do icon data, and rather than giving the hardcoded string, I do label. L-A-B-E-L. Cool. So, and it is asking me to put constant. And now I have to pass parameter. So let me just remove all this. First parameter is icon data is should be icon.call here, icon.call. Then label should be call. Cool. So also let me just copy it 3 more times so that the general structure remains the same. You can see that the same thing happened, but it was like everything was parameterized, and I can now change these two widget columns just by changing this rather than changing here. So this is better for maintainability. I will, because imagine I want to add another column, I can just do this. So another column will be added. Uh, Hello, yes. So this is good for maintainability, but let's just complete the code. Second one was this icon whose name is icons.nearme. So let me just make this near me, and the label is route. And in the third one, it is share. This is the share. Cool. So you can see the second part is also done. So is this clear till now? What I did, the second column. Why are you writing underscore before each widget name? So adding underscore to the widget name makes it private to the class. So uh, I could have, if I didn't add a parameter, like there will be error somewhere, but if I didn't add a parameter, I can uh, like on inside some other function, I can use define declare a my home page and get padding from here. Like I don't want that should happen. So I'm just adding an underscore to define it's a private variable. So cool. Okay, Pranav already gave the answer. Anyways, how can we check the list of images inside the icon? So one poor way of doing it is to just icons dot, and like VS Code will do every like list everything with icon also. So Let me just do icon tree rounded. So you can see I can see the icon and all the names and everything. Another way is to like go to Flutter docs and like search it away. So let me just call. So okay, that is also shared. So is there any doubt? Any more doubt? Cool. So let's continue. Third part is easy enough. We have to just add a text. So rather than doing this all, I just add a text with the data which I will. Let me just this whole paragraph. Rather than this, you can also add lorem. There's a package which does that. So wait, should I add this or should I add lorem ipsum? Okay, cool. So let me just paste this. Now it will run. You can see that it will run. But the thing is, inside the code, there's a huge big line, and I don't want that. So there is a method to do multi-line string, which is done something as follows: this enter this. So rather, I can give one string, and then after it the next line another string. I can keep doing it, and it will be merged into a single string. So let me just do it quickly. And compare here. Yeah. Cool. So this is happened. Let me just also add constant const and see this is done. And but here's a problem. You can see that compared to this image, there's like some space here and like some space in the left, right, top, and also in the bottom if you want. So let's add a padding, like you also margin if you want. So for now, let me just remove the constant and wrap it in a padding. So all padding and just do padding. And it's not constant anymore because I'm passing not constant variable. And you can see that it has happened. Like you can see that the general layout has happened. Let me just do it another time. So it works. Leave it. Let's just leave it. I don't know what is happening. Cool. So now the basic idea has been done. Now there is more things you can do with it. So okay, is all the things I've done? Okay, no, you can see that icon and root have some spacing, so we have to add padding to those also. Get action column rather than icon data. I add container. So rather than container, I add padding. Let it be 8 for now. So cool. So the spacing has happened. Another thing to note, because I did functioning rather than hard coding values, I just changed one thing in the function and it got reflected everywhere I'm using it. So another plus point for code maintainability. So okay, another thing I wanted to add is you can see that there are icons, and what if I want to like click them and I want something to happen on the screen. For example, if I click the star, this 41 becomes 40, or if I click these icon, something should happen. Let's say color should change. So how to do it? Do you Does anyone have any clues? Does anyone have any idea to implement that part? So during the runtime, uh, during the runtime, things should change. So cool. Okay. So gesture detector is also an idea, but that might be more complicated. So yeah, okay. You said the answer. I am going to change it to stateful. So before going into how to use stateful widget, I want to explain what is stateful widget. So stateful widgets are the widgets which has a state. So for example, uh, those state here can be like, is this star selected or not? Is the string data 41 or 39 or something else, whatever. So for storing that and also for using changing those value during the runtime, we have to use stateful widgets. So there's a property of stateful widget, so that it draws itself every time we want to change something. So for example, imagine I wanted to uh, make a stateful widget of this row. So whenever I click this icon, entire row will be like updated. So do you think that's necessary? Do you think that that will be a good idea? Like if I click this button, everything here should change. Cool. So one person is saying no, and let me explain why he's saying no. You can see that from what I want is that this star, when I click it, the text only the 41 changes, not this left side text. So redrawing it is a waste of processing power. So a general rule of thumb, whenever you are thinking of stateful widget, think first what you want to change and only make those parts stateful. So here I want to change only the star and the text. So wait, let me make this constant as well because it's giving me blue error. And also satisfy the spell checker, workspace setting, workspace setting, workspace setting. Cool. So I want for these two to be updated every time. So let me just remove these things. Like let's just copy these things and make a stateful widget. So if you are on VS Code, you just write st and it generates a palette. So stateful widget, and let's name it uh, icon count widget. Like simple naming. There's an icon. There's a count, and inside this, I'm returning. So if you think, if you see, these two should be encapsulated in a row because like they are right side, like left side of each other. So if I'm just drawing this star and on the right of it this 41, I need a row. So for that I add a row where children are this, and I just do this. And because I did this, I have to remove this part also. So rather than icon, like adding two parameters to the row, I add icon row icon count widget. Cool. So if I reload, you will see that the things are same as usual. And even I can use this constant because this thing inside this class function does not change. Rather than like the data inside changes, but this reference does not change. So let's define some state. So as I tell, there should be two state. One is this selected or not, and another is count. So let me define two states, and let's one state be like it is selected or not. So I can do rule selected is equal to true because in the starting it is selected. And another is int count is equal to 41. And now in the icon part, I want, if this is selected, I display a star, otherwise I display something else. So for that, I'm using a ternary operator. So selected question mark. If it is selected, I add this icon dot star, else I add, let me just add another star outline. And this, and here I am adding count dot to string. Cool. So if I reset it, you can see that it is same as usual, but there's like nothing happens. So for that, I have to add a button. Like this icon should be clickable. For and for that, I add something called icon button. So let me remove this icon. Button. What it does is that it's a button which inherits icon, the thing I draw earlier. So I can easily add this here, and when it is pressed, it does something. So on pressed, we have a function which does something. So let me just keep it empty because that's thing that it doesn't do something. You can see that this is now clickable, but when I'm clicking it, nothing happens because this on pressed is empty. So let's add something. So what do we want? When it is selected and I unclick it, it should get unselected. So, and when it is not selected, I click it and it gets selected. So can I do something like selected is equal to not selected? So what this means is that if selected was true, it becomes false. And because it is false, so this conditional becomes false and this gets true. If selected was false, it becomes true because it's not operator and icon dot star get printed. So let's just reload it. You will see that this, okay, this is the button, but it's still not doing anything. Can someone guess why? For the experienced people, can someone guess why this is not happening? Okay, so let me say why it is not happening. So I still have not defined where to redraw this widget. So for that, there is another function called set state. And what this does is that set state gets a function, it executes the function, then redraws this icon like this widget. So it reruns this build function. So, so you can see whenever I click this, first selected will become not selected, and then it will be redrawn again, where like it will see that this ternary operation will get executed and it will change. So let me just restart it, and you will see that when I click it, the star becomes like selected, unselected, selected, unselected kind of things. Now I also want to change the text according to whether it is selected or not. So here I am assuming that when it was selected, it was 41. So when it is not selected, it should decrement. So let's just do if it was selected. So I will change it to not selected and decrement the value. So count minus minus. Else, when like if it was not selected and I clicked it, the number should increase. So count plus plus. So let's restart it. You can see when I click it, this becomes 40. You can see it is working fine. So is this clear why I did stateful widget and how I am doing state, how I'm defining state and why I am doing set state function. Is everything clear till now? Cool. So similarly, you can also make these icons clickable and like change color or do something. Like if you like click it, its color changes or whatnot. So take it as a challenge, do it. So let me stop the first layout here because it has been 1 hour already. I have to do another one. That will be easy one. Don't worry. So cool. So let me just define you what and why I will do the next part. So I have an app made already, which I will like go step by step and say what is happening here. So it is not necessary if you understand everything right now because I will explain it. So it is asking me to enter a place. Let's say I enter my place, Mumbai. 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 If I do search, it will like give me the weather and the current time. So you can see it is 6:53. The app is showing 6:53, and along with it will tell my weather and the like icon, respective icon. So like it is 30 degree and the like I'm using an API and the icons is different from what Windows uses and the location. So our second part of this workshop will be to draw this part, but just basic. So just add a number, degree Celsius, this image, this text for now. Like it can be changed like to update every 1 minute or 1 second, and another text. So let's take a 5 minute intermission while I open all this again in a new app. So yeah, so let me stop this. Make a new project, application, session layout, and weather. Yes, I will like upload them to GitHub and share the GitHub link. So don't worry about that. Okay, while this is happening, let me just share them. So uh, that was layout session. So inside it, Why is the Windows application still building? So that was the site. You can see the code from here. So okay, the app has started. Cool. So this is like the starter page. I'm just removing everything here. Just making a clean slate and making a stateless widget, stateless widget, and my home page. And let's just remove the title because it is not required right now. And rather than container, I'm giving a scaffold. CAFB. And along with that, I want a dark theme. So anything data.dark. Uh, so am I audible and visible? Cool. So yeah, so it's clean slate, and I have to build this. Do I have build app bar right now? Should I build app bar right now? Cool. So inside this, I do app bar, where it is an app bar with uh, with title as Mumbai because it's my place. Uh, Title, and let's for identity center title is true. So I forgot to add a text. So text and so what this does is that adds a Mumbai app bar, and like also because center title is true, it is center here. So cool. Now we have to do adding this part in here. So just for context, this is like fully built app. Matlab it's like I just copied the debug folder of a fully built app and just running it for reference. So you can see that there is a row, sorry, there is a column, and so let me take a picture of this. So this is a column, this is one row, this is second row, this is third row. But because this has only one widget, I will not add a row. But cool. So is this big picture okay? Like there is a column and there is a row and there is a widget and there is a widget. So it's clear, right? Cool. So let's just start. So in the body, mm, the body, I want I just define a column children. Uh, so, and cross axis. I want the element to be in middle. To main axis alignment main axis alignment dot center. So let's just add a text here. It will be 0653 PM. We will see that it is here. Let's just also make it center by but we can do cross axis alignment also, or we can wrap everything around center as well. Let me do this. So it is a sin center. So now some styling. So let's add some style. Style, text style, and I want this size to be 40. Okay, another bracket mistake. Uh, this. Okay, so here is one. So this is good. So it is big, and let's make it smaller. So, okay. Then after that, I have a row. So let's define another widget. So vector row. So widget vector row. Where I add a row which has first it has a big 30. So text 30 with style text style size as let it be 80. So and I have to also return it. So return, and there are too many positional arguments. So this was a children. So now what happened? Expect to find that. So okay, this is the thing. This is the thing. That thing. So good. So 30 has come, but this row is like defined here, so I have to center it also. So in the row I do main axis alignment main axis alignment dot center. So now yeah, it's 30. Now another element is degree C. So let me just uh, take the degree symbol. So take that. Here is here is the degree symbol if you want to copy it. So like this, and here with a comma here, and let's also add a constant here. Uh, let's do okay. So this has happened. Let's see how. Okay, so let's change it to degree C, and because it is smaller, let's say it to like what 50. Let's try 50. The size is okay, but you will see that the C needs to be up. So either we can like increase bottom margin or bottom padding. So let me just add padding because I'm not defining border here. So I wrap this inside padding, and it will be dot only in the bottom. So bottom, let's start with 30. Is this good enough or should I? It's okay. So after that, I have to add an image. So let me give you the image link. This image link is from an API, which like I will I will use in later parts. So, am I audible and visible? My connection was unstable. That's why I'm asking. Hello, am I audible? Okay. Did I got disconnected in between or something? So okay, so this is a link of an image which like an API provides. So for now, let's just add it. So it will be not in the padding, of course. It will be in image dot network, and the source will be this. So let's just see the image has come, but I want to increase it. So inside it there is a scale. So let's just do scale and let do 0.5 and see how it goes. So it's too big. So let's try 0.6. Cool. So this uh, this row is also done. And what's the next part? Next part was Mumbai, Maharashtra, right? Cool. So it will be a simple text with Mumbai, Maharashtra with this. I'm not sure. Uh, Now it should work. Cool. So I made a similar layout, like the icon, like text size is different, but it's a similar layout. I just wanted to ask, should I even like make this time running, like from the real time? So I'm asking whether I should like make this time also like real time, so it will update accordingly, or should we do it in next week? Because it has the 1 hour timeline is crossed. Okay, let's do it. So let me just close it because I'm deviating from there. So I will also display seconds here. So let me just do this. So 0, 6 for example. Now because this text will change during the runtime, I have to convert it to stateful widget. So so my next question is how much part is updated and how much should I make it stateful? So I know that only this part, this text is being changed, like it is changing during runtime. So what I want is like this will do 0711 and with the second, and the second will incrementing like second will update every second with PM also. So for that, I will only make this part a stateful widget. So let me just define a stateful widget as stateful widget and widget. Let's call it time widget. So next question is what is a state here? This entire string is a state. So let's first define string or a string time string is equal to cool. And when this build happens, I return text with like rather than this, I'm passing a time string. and let me change it to time widget. So if I restart it, you will see that the things are same. The only difference is that now I can, like, as this top time string is a state which can be changed because it is in a stateful widget, I can change it. Like I can change it during runtime. So let's do it. So for that we use a special like extra package called intl. So let me first copy this and share it to you guys. So and also let me open it and even so like this package provides internationalization and localization facilities. Like it has every many things, but my main part is date number formatting. So how to install it? So first it is saying to uh, install it here. So I do flutter pub add intl, or I can add this to .yml file, up to you. I'm just doing that in terminal. So this flutter add will like uh, let it happen. So you can see it added this in like pubsf.yml. Like it essentially says that for this app, I will use a package called intl with version 0.17.0 or above. So now also let's look at the site and see how to use it. So it is saying that I have to import this. So let's also copy this. So let's add this. And in the uses in the README, it is mentioned that I can change the date time format to using something called date format dot format where I pass the time. So let's do it. So for starter, let's do date format, and inside it I pass a parameter like there's because the thing I wanted to display like hour second min hour minute second with am pm is very common. There is a already defined constant here. So date, date format dot hour. You can see that there is something called hour minute second and there is an hour 24 minute second. So let me add hour minute second. So hour minute second and also add pm. Then dot format where I pass date time dot now. Cool. So let's try what happens. Let's see what happens now. You can see that it is giving current time, but it is not updating because like we have not added the set state part yet. So let's do some uh, refactorization. Let's first make it make it empty and make a function string at current time where I pass this. This can be turned into getter as well, but let's make a function also. So wait, rather I should try get. So string get per time without a parameter. So, cool. So this is a getter. So let me show you how it works. So I want when the uh, this widget is launched, this time string should be initialized to this part. So for that, there is a function called init state, which is essentially a function which is run whenever this class is initialized. So in in that I add time string is equal to, so when I do this, you will see that current time has happened. When it's now, so yeah, it's 7:17 and 29 seconds, but still we haven't add like set state and everything. So so now what I want that a function should periodically happen every second, right? Because I want to update the time string to the current time every second. So there is a function, like there's a method called timer dot periodic. Yes, timer.periodic. There's a duration and there is a callback. So duration is of type duration. So let's just go with that. Let's try to define a duration parameter. Duration, you can see day, hour, millisecond. I want it to update every second. And a callback. What is callback? It's a function which takes timer as a parameter. So let's define a, wait. So it will take a timer and it will do, uh, first it will set state, because like after updation it will, if it will after updation it will redraw this part, and I will do this thing. So time string is equal to current time. So what will happen, every second, every 1 second, it will call this function. So this function where it is setting state, and before that it is doing executing a function where it is updating the time string to current time, which returns current time in like this format. So let's just restart it and see what happens. You can see that every second this is updating and this is a current time. The longer you run, the time will keep updating, like it will become 7:20, then 8:20, then whatever. So is this uh, like understood? Do you have any more doubt? How to change time zone? So there's a, so for time zone changing, you need to first get the current time from internet, like because this date time dot now is using the OS to like get the time, like in the weather app. Wait, let me show you that weather app. Not this one. In here, for example, if I do like call like Kolkata, okay, time should be same. So whatever it is, wait, let me just do what, Tokyo. Cool. So in Tokyo, what it is doing, that it is using calling a weather API and getting time from there. So from that you can get the time zone data. But now it is just using this date time dot now for accessing the system time. We will reach here within the 3 more sessions. So don't worry about that. So I guess there isn't any doubt left. So let me just, for the sake of doing, add the constant here as well, and uh, just add a constant so that, cool. So like the layout of the app is complete, not this one. This one. So yes, So today's session is technically over.